In the rolling hills of the South Downs National Park is the town of Petworth. Since the mid-1970s, Petworth has become a thriving hub for antique shops, with over 30 spread across the town, and in recent years, it's even been voted the best antiques town in the UK in the British Antique Collectors Awards. As Jeff and Fran share a passion for collectibles, earlier in the week, we took them to meet Janice Enticknap, who runs the antiques market and has a very personal connection to the story of how Petworth created such a name for itself in the world of antiques.
Well, in the 1960s, there were several antique shops here, as there were in most towns, and my mother decided to go into antiques, and she approached a lady in an antique shop in Angel Street and asked her if she could take a small space. The lady said yes, and my mother saw potential for an antique centre, which was quite novel in those days. So she expanded the upstairs attic, took on stall holders, and as the business grew, they decided to buy these premises. My mother was in the business right until she died last year, 82. She was still pricing up stock the day before she died.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes.
That's super.
Yes.
Having revealed the history of the market, Janice was now keen to test Jeff's own unique knowledge of a very useful antique.
I've got a corkscrew here that I need to put in the cabinet. It was one of my mother's. I don't know much about corkscrews.
Let's have a look, please. Thank
sure.
you. Yeah. This is what we call a Henschel button, which was designed and patented by Samuel Henschel at the end of the 18th century.
Oh, right.
It's Victorian. It's what we call a baluster stem on it. Right. It's got a nice ciphered worm. Can you see it?
Yes, that is nice.
I've also got a little bit of porcelain that hasn't been put out yet. Just little spriggy cups and saucers. About 1780. Pretty sprig pattern.
That's delightful.
No, it is pretty.
Very pretty colours there, I think.
Alongside this more affordable market, the town also has a thriving trade in much rarer collectibles. 12 dealers are housed in the Tudor Rose building, and our buyers are off to discover more about the antiques held inside from the owner, Elizabeth Lee.
This is probably the oldest building in Petworth. It dates from about 1600. It was an old alehouse originally.
How do you go about selecting stuff?
The things I select, I've got to like, because if I don't like them, I just can't get very fired up about trying to sell them. There's no real overall style. It's a real mixture and probably allows people to express themselves far better. Now, if we come down to the front of the shop, I've got a particularly interesting piece called a porter's chair that I think you might be
Let's go and have a look.
to see. So here is the porter's chair,
Yes, look at that. It's
which is
splendid.
yes, there aren't too many of these around now. This example is early 20th century. They were for porters, so whether you're talking about a London club or a hotel or a smart house, perhaps you'd like to sit in it, try it for size. Yes,
That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's time to get Jeff and Fran out of the hot seat, as it were, and back to the rather important job of finding them a hot property.